Welcome to a team selection video for Game Week 3, and after the first two game weeks, a few surprises along the way, and here we are, another season of FPL. It is what it is. I'll be talking about how I did in Game Week 2 briefly before discussing Game Week 3, my captaincy plans, also the transfer that I've already made, and yes, I've made it very early. I tend not to do that, but I was just completely settled on this, and I think it is the right decision. We'll see what happens in the end, but there were so many kind of possibilities in terms of the transfers I could have made, and in the end I've kind of gone for the kind of hot topic at the moment. Of course, I'll be discussing that later on, but 76 points, 178 overall, not too bad. It's a pretty good start. I'd say it's a very similar start to last season, although I probably have more points this time round, and yeah, around 208k. And remember, the league code, if you haven't joined already, is 886RGT. If you check the description below, there are two ways to join, as I always say. And remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM. I post regularly on those platforms, and you can also just subscribe to this channel, smash the like button if you enjoy this sort of content. And here we go. I have to say, and this is something I was talking about in my reaction stream the other day, my backline was very impressive. Sanchez kept the clean sheet. Tsimikas and Trent, absolutely amazing, combining for 23 points, and Tsimikas will probably lose his place now to Robertson, but he's done his job, and fantastic, really. Both games he's produced a return. Luke Shaw, despite blanking, got 2 bonus points, so very happy with the defence. The midfield was very disappointing, so obviously Greenwood was the kind of shining light. He got double digits, and he's actually looking like a good differential captaincy at the moment. You look at the others though, Bruno Fernandes was my captain. I thought after Salah blanked, I thought this was the chance to kind of pull away a bit from the template. Unfortunately though, Bruno got a yellow card as well. So Salah 3, Bruno 1, that's the way I see it. Barnes with another blank, and I think the kind of main problem there is just the performance, not just from him, but Leicester in general. Of course, that red card by Ayoze Perez, it did change the complexion of the match. However, it's just Barnes looked very, very off it. And there is a possibility that despite Perez being suspended, Barnes could lose a spot with Daka or Iheanacho, maybe even both of them coming in, although I'd probably say only one of them would. So we'll wait and see there. The thing is with Barnes, and a lot of people are kind of holding on to that Norwich fixture in Game Week 3. I completely understand that. I think it's actually probably a sensible thing to do. Just Leicester and Barnes haven't shown much this season so far. Of course, in pre-season, including the Community Shield, Barnes was looking so impressive. That's why I got him in. Unfortunately, though, it's another player who did so well in pre-season that is doing the business at the moment. Salah vice-captain, he blanked as well. And this was something I was talking about. I had a feeling that Mane would outperform him, maybe even Jota, and they both did. And in the end, it was those that captained Trent that got the joy. So fair play to any of you who have done that. I remember a few kind of viewers from my deadline stream and also my reaction stream telling me about captaining Trent, and of course it paid off, and one of the highest scoring players this week, so fair play to you lot. And as for my attack, Tony blanks yet again. However, in terms of the positions he was getting into, the underlying stats, much better this time around compared to the Arsenal game in Game Week 1. However, I'd say he still had a very good performance in Game Week 1. It's just he was getting into kind of deeper positions. However, Ings, once again, this time he scored a spectacular goal. Obviously, in Game Week 1, he scored a late penalty. He was very lucky to even score in the end. And Antonio, he's pretty much the main man at the moment. He's the highest point scorer in FPL at the moment, and 16 points. I expected him to score and reach the 50-goal landmark for West Ham and become the all-time top scorer against Leicester, but I didn't expect him to score twice and just have that performance and get 16 points. Absolutely sensational. And West Ham, at the moment, they've scored the most goals. They've got the highest XG pretty much. They're pretty much top or top 3 for most of the kind of underlying attacking stats. So Antonio's looking mightily impressive. As for my bench, not really much to talk about. Brownhill did actually regain his spot in the side. I think the reason why he wasn't playing in Game Week 1 was because of an injury, so fair enough. Ben White is still out, and he's probably going to miss the Manchester City game in Game Week 3, and Ayling got 1 point against Everton, so yeah, good thing they didn't come on for me really, but then again, my captain also got 1 point, and then yeah, Foster's just there, so overall, I'm happy with Game Week 2. Of course, not having Benrahma did hurt my rank a bit. I think I could have maybe gone up to 150k, maybe even 100k if I had Benrahma. It is what it is, though. You can't have everyone. However, looking into Game Week 3 and the transfer I have made, yes, the Daniel Ricciardo lookalike. I don't know why I say that, but it's just something that kind of stems into my head. But Benrahma is in my team. I got rid of Barnes and I got Benrahma now. I made this transfer yesterday before the price rise, and I'm not really that fussed about price rises, to be honest. But I'm just completely convinced about getting Benrahma. And now with the news that players aren't going to be allowed to go to red list countries, Benrahma should be fine in game week 4 and 5. Same with Salah, Rafinha, and all these kind of players that we had doubts about. So Benrahma, from that perspective, should be good. However, looking at the other side of it, because despite me bringing him in, there are kind of cons to it. So if you look at his expected goals and expected assists, yeah, fair enough. His XG is, I think, he's 4th amongst midfielders for XG. The problem is that he really is overperforming his stats in terms of goals and assists, and maybe is unsustainable. Of course, Benrahma is always looking good on the eye test. He's now scoring goals and assisting, and some players like Son, they regularly overperform their stats. Will Benrahma do that? We just don't know that yet. Of course, in pre-season, in his last 3 games, he scored 2 and assisted 2, so he's kind of carrying that form into this season. But is this going to be a long-term thing? We're not so sure. What I really like about West Ham and Benrahma are the next 2 fixtures, including Crystal Palace in game week 3. And that's the main reason why I got him in, really. I just think that combination between Antonio and Benrahma is just looking so impressive. And honestly, they can score against anyone. I think they're fixture-proof. Is Benrahma going to be a great asset long term? I'm not so sure. The jury's still out. However, for the next 2-3 game weeks at least, he should be really good. And his price is just so appealing. So I got him in at 6.1 million. Of course, he started the season at 6 million. He's now 6.2. It's just such a great price for a player who is capable of getting double-digit returns against any team. So Benrahma is in. What I could have done maybe instead was keep Barnes, get rid of Brownhill and Tony, and get Benrahma in and a 4.5 million striker. That's something I could have done. However, I wanted to save one transfer going into game week 4 because I kind of already have one penciled in. Danny Ings to Calvert-Lewin is looking very likely in game week 4. I think that's what I'm going to go with. And I do like the flexibility of having 3 strikers, but that is something I might change in the end. I might end up going with 5 in midfield, 2 up front. So I might change my mind there. But I really wanted 2 transfers going into game week 4. That's the reason why instead of getting rid of Tony and Brownhill, I've instead got rid of Barnes and got Benrahma in. And also another kind of reason for that is because Barnes is, as I discussed before, I'm just not completely sure if he's going to start against Norwich. Now, my gut feeling says he might, and of course if he does, he has a great chance of scoring. But even long term, in game week 4, he plays Manchester City. I'd probably want to get rid of him by then or the week after. And Leicester and Barnes just haven't impressed me enough. I think at one stage in the season, Barnes is going to be one of the best midfielders you can own. In this moment in time, though, there are so many other better options, including Benrahma. Of course, there is the kind of flip side to that. You are chasing points in a way. However, I actually believe, looking at the stats and looking at Benrahma's performances and West Ham, the way they're attacking in general, I just think that Benrahma is a no-brainer at the moment. So we'll wait and see. Of course, sometimes these things don't pan out, but I'm just really convinced about that. And Benrahma has become my first transfer of the season. Looking at the rest of the team, Sanchez is in goal. Again, I'm not going to make a goalkeeper transfer. I've still got one free transfer available, of course, and I might use the other one. However, if possible, I'm probably just going to be keeping 2 available heading into game week 4, as I discussed before. As for the defence, a bit of a change here. So Tsimikas will not be playing most likely, and he does face Chelsea. I don't want to have a double up in Liverpool defence against Chelsea, who looks so strong at the moment. So Trent is enough, and even then, I do expect a blank there. Of course, he can surprise us. Luke Shaw is there against Wolves, and he has been disappointing. Some people are considering getting rid of him, and that's completely understandable. However, what I would say is that with defenders, try to be a bit more patient than you would be with the midfielders and attackers, because you don't want to keep chopping and changing your defence. Luke Shaw is still a very good asset. There's a reason why you got him in, and there's a reason why he's owned by so many people in the game, and he's got the attacking potential. United can keep clean sheets. However, sometimes they tend to keep these clean sheets against the kind of tougher teams. However, Wolves, it is a fixture which can actually suggest a clean sheet for United. I wouldn't be surprised if they won 1 or 2-0. But then again, Wolves have been very unlucky. They should have scored a few in their first 2 fixtures. Adama Traore, for example, he's been playing so well, but his finishing has been poor. And Luke Shaw might blank yet again. However, I'm a bit more optimistic this time round about Luke Shaw keeping a clean sheet. And then Ayling against Burnley, not really the greatest fixture in general. I think Burnley are a good team to target from an attacking point of view. So if you have Rafinha or Bamford, definitely hold on to them. And I think they're going to do really well, potentially. But yeah, with Ayling, they might concede a goal or 2. And Leeds, they just pretty much see it as one way of playing, and that's to attack. And The kind of big problem I have with Leeds defensively is Diego Llorente being absent. I think he's the kind of main difference there. So hopefully he is back soon. As for the midfield, not really much is going to change. Obviously, Benrahma's the big kind of shiny new toy. He does play Crystal Palace. He is a great shout for the captaincy. And I'd have to say, Bruno, Antonio, Benrahma, Greenwood, Danny Ings, those are kind of the top 5 for the captaincy, along with Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, who I expect to start if they are fully fit and available. And yeah, I'd say those 7 are pretty much the kind of standouts this week. Of course, there might be 1 or 2 others, and if you want, let me know, and I'll be making a game week preview every single week where I talk about the best captains, not just about my team, also looking at each fixture, giving my kind of predictions and highlighting the best players that you can get in general, as well as discussing all the kind of latest injury news, hot topics, and all of that, where pretty much it's like a one-stop shop for all FPL news. And yeah, Salah at home to Chelsea. It's a good thing now that we kind of know he's going to be playing in game week 4 and 5, unless another kind of twist in the tail happens in regards to international football. But yeah, Chelsea at home. Salah could get something, but you wouldn't think that his ceiling is too high, to be honest. Greenwood actually is a very good kind of outside shout for the captaincy, just like Benrahma, and he's just been doing the goods. He's so clinical, and he can get bonus points easily if he scores and United win the game. And then as for my front 3, Ivan Toney against Villa, I'll be honest, I'm not too convinced about him. Even before game week 1, I wasn't really convinced by him, and I've said this so many times, but I wanted to give him a chance. I thought he had the fixtures, and it's only been 2 games to be fair, but after the next 3 fixtures, Brentford have some very, very tough ones on the horizon, and that's where Toney could be making way. Even heading into game week 4, that's another possibility, but we'll wait and see here. And there's different ways I can go about making changes here, so of course I'll be letting you guys know in future deadline streams, FPL videos as well, including team selections. And the big kind of discussion here is who should I captain. So Danny Ings, as much as I said I think he's one of the best options for the captaincy this week, I probably won't be going for him. I think he's capable of a double-digit haul, and this will probably be the last week that most managers have him before people ship him out for Calvert-Lewin or maybe even Bamford in game week 5. That's a big possibility. However, for me, and I said this in my reaction stream, I said this before as well, Bruno Fernandes or Antonio will most likely be my captain. Benrahma and Greenwood are entering my thoughts too. It's mainly between those 4, but Antonio and Bruno, that is the kind of big dilemma here. And at the moment, I'm going with Antonio. All the underlying stats, he's got the highest XG. He's having so many shots. He's looking so sharp. West Ham are scoring goals for fun. Benrahma and Antonio are having a very good partnership. Antonio also has assists in his locker. Both of his assists have actually come for Benrahma's 2 goals. So a very good partnership there. West Ham are looking so promising. And also Crystal Palace. They're one of the worst teams in my opinion defensively. And although they kept a clean sheet against Brentford, I'm just not convinced by them. And I think that West Ham could actually put them to the sword with a few goals. However, Bruno Fernandes is fixture proof. And despite how good Wolves have been, I say this despite them losing 2 games, I think Wolves have been good. I still think Bruno and Greenwood can do the business against them. United are also a very good attacking team, but just a feel-good factor around West Ham. I think the fixture is better on paper for Antonio. So when you look at it, it's kind of a classic tale of form versus fixtures. I think Antonio has both. That's why I may end up captaining him, to be honest. But it's going to be a very difficult decision, and I might leave it all the way to the deadline stream. Of course, I'll let you guys know about that. And as for my bench, not much has changed, although there could be changes in the future. Ben White is still out most likely, and he does face Manchester City, so he's 3rd on my bench. Tsimikas will probably not be playing yet, probably ever again really, unless there's the occasional rotation between him and Robertson, but I just don't see at this moment in time. And then Brownhill, he's a decent kind of player to have 2 points, maybe 3 points on your bench. But yeah, really, I am kind of being stretched a bit thin in terms of my squad depth. But future transfers can kind of sort my team out. Calvert-Lewin is someone I'm really looking at for game week 4. Rafinha in game week 5, especially now that he's probably not going to be travelling with Brazil for the World Cup qualifiers. And then, other than that, really, I want to keep the defensive transfers to a minimum, but one possibility is moving Tsimikas on for a 4.5 million defender, maybe 4 million. And if I have more money in the bank, maybe someone like a 5 or 5.5 million defender, maybe from Chelsea. I really want some Chelsea players, especially their defenders. So there's different ways I can go about it. But at this moment in time, the main talking point really, getting Benrahma in and Antonio captain. And that's how I'm looking like at the moment. Let me know what your team is looking like like down in the comment section below. Who do you think is the best captain? And yeah, how did you do in game week 2, of course? And some people have had some very good starts. Some people maybe not so impressive, but it's very early days. So it's very important to kind of keep a cool head and not overreact. Although maybe some people would say I am by getting rid of Barnes and getting Benrahma in. But of course, you can argue about that all in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And really appreciate all the support. Good luck with game week 3 and the rest of the season. Enjoy the football. And yeah, it's going to be a hell of a blast, and some kind of big surprises in FPL have already been rearing its head because yeah, just some things you would just never anticipate. But that's the beauty of football and of FPL pretty much sometimes. And yeah, hopefully more green arrows, more positivity and more good football. Hopefully that's the case. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time.